A Ju-on. Literally, Grudge curse. When someone dies in a grip of a powerful rage, a curse is born. The curse gathers in that place of death. Those who encounter it will be consumed by its fury. Those who encounter it die, and a new curse is born.
Or as I like to put it, the Grudge on Wii.
Ju-on the Grudge is a first-person survival horror game that was developed by Feel Pulse Games and published by Xseed Games in 2009. This was an exclusive horror title only made for the Nintendo Wii. While this game is a self-proclaimed haunted house simulator, the most haunting thing about this is how terrible the controls were programmed for the Wii remote. The plot of the game is more confusing than the timeline of the actual Ju-on movie franchise. You play as members of the Yamada family, whom have just moved into the old Sakai house from the movies. And for some reason not explained to the player, the family is now exploring 5 different stages in what seems like a very random, nonsensical reason while being hunted by Kayako. The 5 stages are your generic cookie-cutter levels you would see in any independent shovelware game in the early 2000s, including an abandoned hospital, an abandoned factory, an abandoned apartment complex, and finally, the Sakai house. Like in the movies, anyone who's in the grip of the curse is bound to die no matter what. But what I'm confused on is how this family has lived in this house for so long with never running into the angry spirits. It's presented that this family has lived here long enough to establish their lives in the city with jobs, school, and in the mother's case, being in a coma at the local hospital. Then one day, the daughter Erica, whom I assume is the main protagonist of the game since she's the only one who doesn't die at the end of their initial stage, has her dog randomly run into an abandoned factory, comes in contact with Toshio and Kayako, hence setting loose the curse onto the rest of the family in the same night. The funny thing to me is, as broken as this plot seems to be, it does sound like something that would fit into a bad Grudge sequel. But what isn't funny is how bad the controls are, and the reason for that is due to the developers not using the Wii Remote's infrared sensor to control the character, but instead used the Wii's accelerometer to guide the character. They did this to attempt to make it seem as if the player flinched in a jump scare, so also would the character in the game. But in reality, what it does is constantly make you move around like you're having a seizure. Not only are the controls painfully annoying, but due to this, there are certain sections of the game where you rely on the Wii Remote's wave function for a QuickTime event, and no matter how hard you shake the Wii Remote, you won't get the event to trigger, hence killing you and forcing you to restart the entire painful level again. You think the most deadly thing in this game are ghosts? No. The most deadly thing in this entire game is the stairs. I've seen characters in old Resident Evil games tackle stair sets with more finesse than these people. You get a ranking score after every stage on what the game thought of your performance, based on how brave or how scared the game thought you were. There are collectibles hidden throughout the game, but I haven't found any redeeming reason why you would want to search for them.
The monsters have overtaken the city.
Some of the hidden scares are clever, utilizing the speaker on the Wii remote to have Kayako's voice come through in certain areas. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give Ju-On the Grudge a 4.
Nagasaki, Okinawa, Hokkaido, Yokohama.
This was supposed to be a love letter to the film franchise, due to it being the 10th anniversary of the Ju-On movies, even being directed by Takashi Shimizu, who is the creator of the films. But from interviews I have read, the only part Takashi had in the game was directing the opening cutscene and telling the developers how Kayako should move around. A Grudge simulator was a great idea, but executed very poorly. I could see a game based off this movie franchise being up there with Fatal Frame, but taking a beloved horror franchise and deciding to do experimental control layouts like the developers did with this game is plain stupid. And the jump scares were on the level of early YouTube videos in 2007. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. This is Forrest, this is Retro or Die, and I'll see you on the next game review.